Hi everybody, this is my Module 12 case study. The case looks at Mr. Santos, who's the principal at Briardale Elementary School, which is one of 6 different elementary schools within the district. Each school has formed a foundation that is going to help fundraise for supplementary curriculum, and there's also competition that happens between the schools to see who's going to raise the most amount of money. The foundation is chaired by a parent representative, and its roles to be able to support supplementary curriculum financially and recommend programs for these funds to be used. Mr. Barley is a new parent in the district, and he was recently chosen to lead the Briardale Foundation as a new president. Mr. Barley knows that the president of another school's foundation from college, so feels inclined to compete to raise the money between them. Mr. Barley does recall a raffle for cash fundraiser that they did in college that raised more than $100,000. So that's the proposed idea that he has for the fundraising to the foundation, and everybody was in support. The tickets were sold, and on the night of the raffle, the drawing, the sheriff arrived and detained Mr. Barley. He took the book, he was booked, released, and later convicted of a misdemeanor and placed on probation for his role in a raffle for cash event. Mr. Santos, the Briardale Elementary School principal, and the Briardale Foundation were embarrassed of this and ended up on the front page of the local news. So legal issues that happened here. Mr. Santos, Mr. Barley, and the entire Briardale Foundation and school have been harmed by this tipster going to the authorities. I feel that in this situation, embarrassment for the school, principal, district, and foundation happened. You have one or more of these people may lose their job due to this debacle and this incident. The existing situation brought up legal actions that were justified legally and perhaps not ethically. Legally, the foundation attempted to operate a raffle without a license, so they were in the wrong there. They did break the law as far as that goes. Ethically, I feel that the tipster should have alerted Mr. Barley and Mr. Santos before going to the authorities. So you do have some legal issues and ethical issues both in this case. I do believe that there was no breach in contract in the situation. It appeared to be honest mistake by Mr. Santos and Mr. Barley. However, it's not surprising if either one of those positions were lost due to the mishap in the handling of this. I don't feel like there were any discriminatory actions or actions that constituted harassment, but it does bring up ethical issues like we talked about. What exactly happened is that the raffle for cash fundraising event was hosted by Mr. Barley. He was in competition with the other local schools in the district, and he hoped to raise money for the Briardale Elementary School by hosting a raffle for cash fundraiser, but did so without a gambling or raffle license. This resulted in arrest and embarrassment of Mr. Santos, the principal of Briardale, the school, the district, as well as the Briardale Foundation for this incident here. So the facts about the people. What we know is Mr. Barley's a new parent in the district and is the new president of the Briardale Foundation. We know that Mr. Santos is the principal. Mr. Santos has met with Mr. Barley to discuss the expectations and responsibilities of the fundraiser. The foundation has been started for each school to raise additional funds for supplemental curriculums. The parents at Briardale have been very supportive of the foundation in the past. We know that Mr. Barley was motivated to fundraise in competition with Mr. Morley, who was a former college classmate of his. When the raffle was proposed to the foundation, everybody was in favor of this and thought it was a great idea. Tickets were sold within the community, and the local sheriff arrived at the raffle to book Mr. Barley for hosting an illegal raffle, and the school and Mr. Santos were embarrassed by the situation. What we don't know is we don't know if Mr. Barley, the foundation, or Mr. Santos knowingly held an illegal raffle or if it was an honest mistake. We do not know who sold the tickets or how they were sold. We don't know if the identity of the tipster, but we can infer from the case that it may have been Mr. Morley And we don't know the current relationship between Mr. Barley and Mr. Morley, even though they were former college classmates. The facts about the place is that we know that there are 6 elementary schools within the district, each housing between 500 and 800 students. We know that Briardale Elementary has a population of 600. It is a K-5 school and is located in the center of town with a diverse community. We know that Briardale Elementary also serves the community's meeting center and hosts groups of more than 1,000 people. And we also know that there are 2 middle schools and 1 high school within the district. We don't know if the demographics of the school correspond and match the diverse community surroundings. We don't know the specific demographics of the community other than it is diverse. Although we know the age and condition of Briardale Elementary, or we don't know the status of the other schools within the district, and we don't know the social and economic status surrounding the school. When looking at the program, like we said, Briardale Elementary serves students K through 5. We know the school's curriculum focuses on basic skills. The educational instructional objectives are based on student performance and supporting the emphasis on basic skills instructions. We know that the superintendent placed funds into each school's budget that must be used to support the basic skills curriculum. We know that the funding supplementary curriculum comes from each of the school's individual foundations, and the funds raised by the foundations are turned over to the building principal and placed in a category for the budget for supplementary curriculum. The school's curriculum committee handles the curriculum suggestions made by the foundations. What's unknown here is that we don't know if the school district is a public or private district. We don't know how the superintendent allocates funds to each school within the district. We don't know the status of other schools' funds within the district for supplementary curriculum, and we don't know the process other schools use to determine how to allocate foundation funding. So to prioritize the information here, Mr. Santos is the principal at Briardale Elementary. The school has a population of 600 students. It is one of 6 schools within the district, and this school is centrally located in town. Mr. Santos provides basic funds for the curriculum from the superintendent. From there, the foundation is established to provide supplementary program funds. Mr. Santos always agrees upon the recommendation of the fund usage and the protocols that has been established as a school site curriculum committee. Parents have been very supportive of the foundation and the fundraising programs in the past, and each elementary school in the district has its own foundation. Mr. Barley is the new president of the Briardale Foundation. Mr. Barley is a well-educated and highly competitive person. He's met with the committee and established the idea for the raffle. That was a very big success and it was supported. But it was not informed that the school did not have a raffle license. The incident left an mark on the Briardale Foundation, and Mr. Santos was personally embarrassed by this. So the stakeholders that are at risk in this, you have Principal Santos, Mr. Barley, Briardale Foundation, and the school, staff, and community, staff, students, and community. You have, what I've learned from the situation is that you need to let a sheriff's office know about the investigation. You need to meet with the superintendent about raffling fundraising, and why was Mr. Barley not informed about the raffle laws prior to starting this? Have we consulted all of the stakeholders? No, we haven't talked with the superintendent, the committee members, staff, sheriff's department, or a legal team. And do we know enough to make a decision? No, we don't. We need to meet with the superintendent to review our legal policies. So the possible actions that we can do here is that we can take no action and not making any decision. It's going to keep Mr. Barley as foundation president. School will be at risk for potential legal actions from the raffle, and the foundation would have a decision to make about refunding the raffle. Then the most comprehensive and liberal action would be for Mr. Barley and the foundation committee members to be removed. new fundraising committee would be established and all money is returned. Mr. Santos is put on probation and determined or not for informing Mr. Barley of the fundraising laws. Intermediate option 1 is to terminate Mr. Barley. The foundation and committee are overseen by Mr. Santos. The money for the raffle is returned. Fundraising, ethics, training, and signed agreement by all stakeholders is established, and there are new fundraisers that are established. Intermediate option 2 is the same option with one exception, is that Mr. Barley publicly acknowledges what he did was wrong and continue his role as foundation president. The school and the district also provide an acknowledgement statement. So pros and cons and possible outcomes here. If you take no actions, there's no pros. The cons is that Mr. Santos, the superintendent, and all stakeholders are at risk, and there's legal action that's going to be taken against this foundation, the school, the district, and individuals involved. If we go comprehensive or liberal action, the school and district set an example for expectations. That is a pro. The cons is that the extreme punishment for all parties involved, and you might have a difficult time finding replacements for these positions. Possible outcomes is that the superintendent would have to hire and train a new principal. Students would not have supplemental funding, and new fundraising committee would have to be formed. Intermediate option 1 is the pro, shows that Mr. Santos and the foundations are still involved. New protocols and expectations are established. Con is that Mr. Barley, a volunteer, is removed. Potential outcomes is that the trust is lost in the fundraising committee. Intermediate option 2, all stakeholders acknowledge the mistake. New protocols are made and established for the upcoming fundraising events. The cons is that the stigma has been established and still unaware of legal actions. Potential outcomes would still be that you would have to kind of start over, but you would have the same people in charge able to work to regain trust after the mistake was made. As far as the best option, I believe it's intermediate option 2. This would be made by the superintendent and the school board. They would allow Mr. Santos and Mr. Barley to continue to work. They would be able to try to recover from their mistake, and then we would have to wait and see on legal actions from there. To implement this decision, it would depend on the superintendent and the school board. If my option was chosen, a public acknowledgement would be released within a week's time. New protocol, procedures, and expectations would be written and signed by all stakeholders within 2 weeks. And as principal, I would oversee the foundation and committee as well as provide fundraising, ethics, and training. What may happen is that all people involved may step down from their roles. There may be legal ramifications for Mr. Barley. Our public acknowledgement statement may not sit well with the community, and the foundation may not thrive. Students' academic needs would suffer at this point, and everyone accepts our mistake and move forward with new guidelines in the future. We would let all stakeholders know, law enforcement know, and the community know what's going on. This is an external issue because it is involved with law enforcement and the grounds for new policy within the school. This option is a warning. You have acknowledgement and a plan to move forward. It also establishes new expectations in our district and our school. And the next step would be possible termination of the principal, additional or new legal ramifications for the stakeholders. Plan B would be to terminate the foundation and create a new committee with the principal overseeing the training and process for an allocation of funds. Justification is that we're going to promote academic success and personal well-being of each student and adult. We want to make sure that we provide clear evidence. We're using the fundraise money to provide students with supplemental education experience for college, career, and life. This option is also going to establish that we as stakeholders need to acknowledge our mistakes and work collaboratively together to better the students. We're going to keep the foundation. We are supporting students and learning development. We're also educating our volunteers and stakeholders on school procedures. This is going to inspire staff by having a school site curriculum committee so that they have a say in how it is that we spend these funds. We want to use the fundraise money to create challenging, supportive, collaborative, experimentative conditions to foster student-driven learning. This case provided an extensive collaboration of what learning